Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's edition or episode of Monday Motivation. My name's Jenny Kovacs, and for the next 15 or 20 minutes, I'll be taking you through some things to not only motivate your morning, to motivate your Monday, also to motivate your week. Because for many of us, we are working hard, we are running businesses, we're getting out there and doing our stuff in the world. And if we're doing that literally by ourselves, then isn't it nice to be able to look within yourself to be able to motivate your week? Now, these actually started way back when I worked in financial services in 2018. So these are over 10 years old. And these started from a place of really, I thought that Mondays got a bad rap. It was almost like the thing not to be looked forward to. It was the thing that people dreaded. And I thought, well, if I just send a little motivational saying, that might pep people up on a Monday morning. And then through time and technology, when I started my own business in 2010, I decided to carry on the tradition, to send something out to people that were on my database every single Monday so that they could motivate their morning, their Monday and their week. And then before long, I realised, why don't I bring these to life? So that you could join me if you're up for it at 7 a.m. And for those of you who watch on the replay and comment and share these, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much. So if you are watching this now, and you can see the comment box below, like I say, whether you're watching this now live on the replay, do say hi. Live at the moment is the lovely Ivona and the lovely Alan. I can see their comments in the box there. So thank you for saying not only good morning to me, but good morning to each other. Now, if you're watching this in the UK, it's Monday morning, but if you're watching this in the US, it's Sunday night. So thank you either way. So we've got Ian, who's also saying, "Hey up, good morning." And Ian is watching, I know, from around the Yorkshire area in the UK. There's more to the UK than London. We've got Faye, who's watching from up north in Manchester. And we've got quite a few of you I can see hopping on. So let's go with this. Let me talk about, why am I talking about opportunities and possibilities? Well, there are a few themes that have definitely been going on in the last couple of weeks, and this is not just about other people, often for myself as well. I'm waving at you all, just from, for you guys, for me. And I often think if things come up for me and the clients that I speak to, the peers that I speak to and mix with, and also for my lovely vibers, then it's likely that this will be a juicy nugget for you too. So this morning I'm going to share a couple of things to think about when you're looking at possibilities or opportunities in your life. Hey, morning Lisa. So here's something that I would like you to have in mind as you listen to these words. Think of something that you want to make possible in your life. Think of an opportunity that you would really love to have. That's it. One possibility that you would love, one opportunity. It could be around your health, it could be around your finances, it could be around being visible in your business or in your organisation. It could be around your lifestyle, it could be around like personal or professional relationships. It could be something that you deem as an ambition. It could be something that you are looking at as a goal. Whatever that thing is, and if you find that you've got a few, write them all down, but just pick one. Hey, Jamie's on. Good morning. Watching without sound. My sound is gone on the computer, but I'm trying to read my lips. Okay. Hello, Jamie. Which is going to be strange because I think that this is going to be in mirror writing, but I'm saying hello to Jamie, who I think is watching from the Netherlands. So here are some things to think about. Now you've picked that thing. If you've got other things, write them down. You can always repeat this exercise, go back to them, even save this video and rewatch it again. So first things first, first thing to do, and this was a very common theme in some of the conversations I had. It was like the difference between the thing that happens or happened and the difference between the things that don't. So let me give you an example. I was speaking to a friend quite recently, and I talked about the importance of planning, but somehow planning has become overly too important, to a point where people get in their head about it and they feel overwhelmed, or they can't make a decision, they feel like there's no space. So the art of planning is to plan, but also to plan in the gaps for, you might call them the modern day miracles, the modern day magic, so that you have got plans for things to do and plans for things to happen. And I'm going to go through this in like 3 different ways in which you can do this in your life. So remember that planning isn't just about go, 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 go. It's about knowing the direction that you want to take, but also having or leaving space for you to do the thing, for you to have the thing, for you to receive the thing. It'll make a lot more sense once I've gone through these next 3 tips. So now you've got that thing, that goal, that ambition, the health, wealth, fitness, whatever it is. The first way that I noticed that many people weren't getting the opportunity or going for the possibility that they seek was because they weren't asking. It's as simple as that. You need to ask. But here's where people really are falling down. They're falling down because they are asking for the thing without being clear about what it is. So in order to demonstrate this, I want you to imagine your favourite restaurant. You're going to go to your favourite restaurant with a friend. You're sitting down, maybe it's got nice white tablecloths, the cutlery's laid out, the glasses are in front of you, and you've had a look at the menu, and even though there are a couple of things that you can't quite decide between, you've decided to go for that one dish. So then what happens is the waiter comes over, wants to take your order, and you say, I'll have that thing on the menu, that thing over there on the menu. And the waiter says, sure, yes, which thing would you like specifically? This one, the one on the front page, that first one, maybe 3rd one down, maybe something like that. And by now the waiter's got these squiggly lines on his forehead, and he's like, or she, they're like, yeah, I'm not sure what it is you want. Tell me what you would like and I'll bring it for you. Now, I give that sort of brief story as a metaphor. How can you go for a possibility? How can you go for an opportunity when you're not clear on what it is? Now, let's be clear on this. It's not about being clear on how it's going to happen or how you're going to do it, but it's about being clear on what it is. So when that waiter comes to take your order, if you're saying, yes, this is what I would like to start speaking more on a regular basis, at least once every month, to audiences of around 20 to 50 people whose interests are in A, B and C. I give that as just one of many examples that people often tell me that they want to have, want to do, want to be. And that example means that they're really clear on what it is they want. You know, so many people say, I want to become a speaker, or I want to grow my business. But what exactly does that mean? I want to become more visible is something that I hear people say. But where? Do you want to be more visible? Online, offline, both, on video, on Facebook Lives, when you go and speak. So number 1 is to ask and be really, really clear. Really, really clear. As if you're placing an order. So one of the things that I want you to take as an action point today is to go and write down. Don't just dream it in your head. Write down as if you're writing an order to somebody by letter. This is what I would like to do. This is what I want. And write it all down so that you could literally hand it to somebody and they could follow that instruction. That exercise alone will give you so much clarity and stop the brain space that makes it feel overwhelming of, oh, well, should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. It's almost like making a decision and going for it. Okay, does that make sense? If it makes sense, give me a thumbs up, a love heart, or even a face for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live. If you're watching this on the replay or on my YouTube channel, you're probably wondering, what does this all mean? Never mind. If you are, just go over to Facebook and look for the Queen of Being Seen, Jenny Kovacs, or even just type in the @visibilityvibe and you'll find my page. And you'll be able to watch these lives with people like Ian, like Faye, like Lisa, like Alan, and some of you others that are watching too, Jamie. So that was point 1. Okay, so we'll go to point 2. There's go and flow. I almost wanted to say there's go versus flow, which means that it's either one or the other. And actually, you can incorporate too. So what is go and what is flow? There are people who we see all the time, all day, every day, who are really successful with what they do because they push and they go hard and they get stuff done. But what if you're not that sort of a person? What if you don't want to exhaust yourself by pushing hard all the time? Isn't there some sort of balance or harmony where you can go with the flow? Well, here's how I approach this. And again, here's how I was speaking to somebody very recently about this. You may have heard of visualization. You may have heard of putting an intention out there. You may have heard of putting it out and waiting to see what comes back. Here's where the harmony comes in. When you have a very clear idea, because now you've asked and now you've written your order down so you can actually see the specifics of what it is you're going for, what it is you're attaining, what it is that you're aiming for, you can now visualize very clearly what that looks like. And there'll be a small percentage of you watching this saying, but I don't visualize, I'm not a visual person, da, 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 da. And actually, that's not true. We all do this in large or small amounts, even if we don't do it intentionally. So here's the thing that you need to do. The thing that you need to do is this. Visualize, know what it is that you're aiming for, know the specifics of what you're aiming for, and let me tell it like this. Imagine that you are an athlete. Imagine that you are starting a race. Imagine that you have been like rehearsing this mentally in your mind and physically on the track for months and months to, ahead. You've got a very important race. Maybe it's the Olympics, maybe it's the Commonwealth Games. And you've been both physically rehearsing, training, and mentally rehearsing, visualizing yourself crossing that finishing line and then looking back to see people finishing after you. Here's where you use your flow with your go. Now that you're in the flow, now that you're going through and you've seen yourself cross the finishing line, how you use your go is that you imagine every element of that race, not just winning the race. It's a bit like that athlete, training hard, visualizing the race, and then on the day of the race, sitting behind the start line and saying, I visualized it, it's done. And when the starting block goes, just standing there saying, it's okay, I visualized it, it's done. That's how you use your go with your flow. But when you use your go first, all you will end up feeling like you're doing is pushing hard, overworking, overwhelmed, and things like that. So visualize where you're going to and then use your go inside your flow. Make sense? If it does, give me a thumbs up or a love heart. If you're like, but Jenny, how would I do that? I've got an example here and I'd like you to talk me through it. Then put a comment in the box below and I'll be more than happy to answer that. If not, over on the Facebook page, the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group, you'll be able to mix with over 700 plus like-minded people and continue the conversation and continue the discussion. So thank you so much for watching. For those of you that are hopping on and off and getting ready to start your day, I'd love it if you would come back and share this with other people who you know might need a little bit of Monday motivation. And I would also like or love to hear what you do with these things too. So do share it on your timeline with other people who might just need a bit of a pep up. You never know where somebody is in their head or what they're doing with themselves. So that was the second piece. Now the third thing is all about receiving. The biggest block that I come across, whether it's friends, whether it's clients, whether it's businesses or organisations, the biggest blocker that I come across is where people ask and then they're actually not open to receiving. And this actually happened to me really recently. There was something that I wanted to do and in my head it had to happen in a certain way. So I kept thinking, well, this is going to happen in a certain way. I'm going to put steps in place to make it happen and allow it to happen. But this is the thing that I want to do. This is how it's going to happen. This is what it's going to involve. These are the costs involved. This is how I'm going to show up. And I had a very clear idea about how it was going to be. But what I also included in there was the how I thought it was going to happen. and I'd ask questions, and I felt pretty sure that, you know, this thing was going to happen in this certain way, and yet it hadn't yet. It didn't yet. So it literally got to the why. It got to the last minute where I had to make a decision. Is it going to be a yes? Am I going to go for it? Is it going to be no? Not this time. And I really don't like the no, not this time. But I do always look under the hood to see if there's anything that, you know, any unreasonable thing that I'm putting in as a reason, which is really an excuse. Anyway, long story cut short, it got to the why, and I said, you know what? I need to make a decision. On this occasion, it's going to be a no. And here's why. I was very clear as to why. It wasn't a reason for an excuse. And literally, within half an hour of making that decision, the option to do exactly the same thing in a completely different way literally landed in my inbox. Literally landed in my inbox. Now, here's why this is important. I don't purport to teach magic, but what I do know is if my head was still in the, I've got to do this thing in this way, has to happen like this, it's likely that my head would have been so full of overwhelm of how I'm going to make this thing happen that I probably would have ignored that email in my inbox. I might not have even seen that opportunity or that possibility. I would have been in a like, well, it's not going to happen and I'm not happy, and I would have closed myself off from that. Does that make any sense to you? If it does, give me a ha-ha or a thumbs up or a love heart. It's almost like living a very magical and calmer life because you're leaving space and you're open to the opportunity of receiving. So once you've been clear and you've asked, you know exactly what it is you want, you've gone with the flow and the go behind it so that your steps are intentional, they're not being pushed, they're not being forced, they're not overwhelming. You are now in a place where you're open to receiving. So there's an exercise that I really want you to try out this week. Try it out for size. Because quite often we say there are things we want, but we're not clear on it. We push to get them, but we're not in flow with it. So it doesn't feel aligned and it doesn't feel great. And then when an opportunity to do that thing reveals itself, if we haven't asked and we're not clear and we're not in the flow, we don't even see it or notice it. So ask yourself this question: are you ready to accept the opportunity? Like, are you really ready? Are you open to accept the opportunity? And ask yourself again, are you ready, really? Are you really, really ready for it? You know, those people that tell me, I use this as an example, I hear it a lot, I want to be a speaker or I want to speak internationally, and they haven't got any information together on what their talk's about. They haven't even decided, because they speak on so many things. That's fine. If you speak on so many things, have like a bit of blurb written up on all those many things talks, you know. They haven't learnt to articulate the value that they can add someone's audience. They haven't gone out and made that approach. Or they want to speak internationally, yet they haven't stepped out of their own country to go and experience somebody else's international event. So they don't know what the expectations are in a different country, in a different culture. So that's not to make that person wrong for having that thought. It's to open up the possibility so they are really ready to receive. Somebody that tells me they want to speak on an international stage and won't go to anyone else's event, to me doesn't seem like they are open to receiving. Okay, so here's something that I want you to do as a little exercise on the receiving part. I do this on a regular basis, and even to this day I still realise there are times when I'm kind of like blocked to receiving, so I have to check myself before I wreck myself. And here's what I do. From this point, for the next at least few days, if not the next week, notice where you're being given something, you've got the opportunity to receive something, and you're saying no. It could be that you signed up as part of a program and you got some bonuses and you're like, yeah, whatever, yeah, I'm not even going to look at those bonuses. It could be that you've been given some materials to look at and you're like, no, it's okay, don't want to. The no normally comes, or the lack of receiving normally comes into, I don't want to be too much trouble. Or somebody pays you a compliment, oh, I love what you're wearing, oh, this thing, oh, it's really old, I got it, ages ago. You are actually not in the receiving mode. You're not in receipt of a compliment. Now, there's a reason why this happens, and often it's because we have maybe conditioned ourselves that, 2 or 3 things to receive is fine. Anything more, no, it needs to go to somebody else. And it's what a mentor of mine refers to as your having level. What is your having level? Are you open to receiving and open to expanding that having level, or are you going to close yourself off? Because this is what I found when I decided, well, you know, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And I actually closed my having level. I closed my receiving level off. But when I let it go and said, you know what, I need to empty the head of all the could be this, could be that, maybe this, maybe that. Wasn't it amazing how I was able to see opportunity in such a quick and short space of time? And I know you can too. So just to recap, ask, be clear, place your order, and your action is to write it down. Write it down as if you're writing a note to somebody that you're going to give it to them and say, go and make this happen. Okay? Second thing, go and flow. Get into flow first and then use your goes, your actions from that point. And the third thing, be open to receiving. And I want you to notice, even in the next 7 days, I'd love to hear how you get on with this. Please type in the comments below or even in the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group and let me know, like, how many times did you realise that you were offered maybe a cup of tea, or maybe, you know, somebody wanted to pay for dinner for you. You went, no, it's okay, I'm okay. I'd love to hear how you go. So just before we wrap up, I'm going to read you something from a book that I love called U Squared. And this, to me, summarises what we've just spoken about now. Focus on the ends rather than the means. You don't have to know where you're going or how you're going to get there, but you do need to know where you want to go. It's crucial to have a crystal clear path, a crystal clear picture of what you want to accomplish. Operate with a sharply defined mental image of the outcome that you seek. Rivet your attention on that spot where you are to land at the end of your own quantum leap. Visualize your arrival, and when you do that, it's like you magnetize yourself to the ways and the means involved in the methodology from getting there. The solutions begin to appear everywhere and answers come to you. If you start worrying about everything that will be involved in getting from here to there, you are bound to bog yourself down in the questions about the methodology. People always get hung up on the how-to aspects regarding their own quantum leaps. The key is not to get in the way. Don't get in the way. Skip it, because the answers will come to you. And when they do, you'll probably find them really simple, streamlined solutions. Because if you're going for a quantum leap is a move that you've already prepared to make. You just haven't done it yet. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I love that you've been saying hi to each other, and I love that you've been watching this. Please don't keep this a secret. Share it with whoever, even if you don't think that somebody might need a Monday motivation. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.